You're thinking right now, why the fuck should you listen to me in order to get rich? And that's a valid question because I don't have a Lamborghini, I don't have a mansion, and I don't make millions of dollars like all the YouTube gurus make. But what I do have was the ability to quit this job within 2 years, make 103K solo, and also have a six-pack. And that's probably all that you care about. You just want to get out of your job. You just want to make enough money to survive and do whatever you want. And of course, you can do other things to grow that money over time, grow your profit over time. That's all you want, right? If that is true, then listen up, because I attribute my ability to make the 100K, the six-pack, everything, to quit my job and make videos on the internet, do whatever I want during the day, to changing in my environment. And then from changing my environment, make adaptations to that environment. Then from those adaptations, essentially building more skills to survive in that environment, conquer harder, more lucrative, and more satisfying environments over time, which then, of course, increases your income, increases your ability to be rich, or basically as rich as you want, because you just keep on conquering the harder and harder environments, make more and more adaptations, build more and more skills, and then eventually you'll be as rich as you want as long as you continuously want to conquer harder environments. So this is the thinking behind what got me as rich as I want and continue to get me more rich. If you want that, then listen up. But keep in mind, this is not no
super business tactic to make $2 million in 2 weeks and buy a Lamborghini.
Because that's unrealistic. It probably hasn't worked for you. And it's also not
No investment tactic for the S&P 500 and you'll be rich at 65 years old.
That doesn't work because you're still going to be in your sad and poor situation the next 500 days later, which is not what you want. And there's no
crazy productivity notion habit that's going to make you super productive and get all your work done, because
that also probably hasn't worked, and you've heard on YouTube as well. So you need the thinking to find your own way, to create your own adaptations, which you also enjoy, to enter the environment that you want, which gets you the skills that you want, which then, of course, gets you keep going to getting rich as much as you want. If that makes sense to you, then here is the first part that you have to understand, which is the $100 billion hedge fund founder 5-step process in order to actually change your environment and eventually get the freedom that you want or success in anything that you want, whether that's business, career. It works for both. It worked for him, of course, within a business. It worked for him within a career. And the same exact concept worked for me. I tweaked it a little bit, but this is the very basics that you should understand. And this billionaire is Ray Dalio. If you don't know who he is, he founded Bridgewater, which is the largest hedge fund in the world. And he founded it at 26. And he was middle class. So if it worked for him at 26, and it also worked for me at like 24, then it can work for you at whatever age you are. It is the first. Start with goals. From your goals, you're going to have problems along the way, of course. But then you diagnose those problems, design some plan. Once you have your plan designed, you start doing something. And that doing something gets you closer to your goal because it overcomes the problem. And how Ray Dalio draws it, and he actually has multiple books on the topic. But within his book, he always has in the cover this picture right here. It's a swirl. And let's say your goal is way, way out there. Say it's like 5 years out. So you have where you are, and this is your kind of goal starting point. But then eventually, you're going to hit a problem after doing a little bit of work on it. And this makes you go down. You kind of have like negative progress at this point. And at this point, you're gonna be like, oh, what the fuck? What the fuck is going on? And that's when you start to diagnose the situation. What is the actual problem here? Like, for example, be like, oh, I'm always losing on my trades because XYZ, or oh, I'm not making it on my business, or nobody's contacting me because XYZ. Then you create some sort of plan, like you create a new trading strategy, you create a new marketing strategy to overcome this problem. That is the design. And from that designed plan, that is when you actually create your skill adaptation in the actual doing part, the skill to overcome this problem or actually go up here. That gets you closer and closer to your 5-year goal or whatever goal you have in life. This could be honestly your life goal all the way out as far as possible. This is super crucial because you need this loop part, the problem diagnosis and design part, to actually move forward. But the thing is, this is really hard to notice, and a lot of people don't do it, which is why they never get the freedom that they want, is because in retrospect, or when you look at other successful people, it just looks like this, a straight up line. They're like, oh shit, they were successful. They were just lucky, or someone just gave them the success. And they don't see this part under, the loop under, which is the most crucial part, because this part, the up part, never happens without this downward part. But you might be wondering that you actually need a goal right now. So you actually need this 5-year out goal or your life goal to actually pursue, or you're actually not going to get anywhere. You're never going to get rich. You're going to have nothing to actually change your environment and adapt to in order to keep making more and more money. If that is the case, so you don't have nowhere to start, or you have some sort of passion, but you don't really know how to make it into a skill that actually makes money, top link in the description is actually something that might interest you. It's a little diagnosis that you can do. It only takes like 3 minutes. It's completely for free. If you're interested in it, just click the link below. If not, here's how you genuinely go take that first step from changing your environment from your deathbed to like fertilizer, which means staying in your miserable job for the rest of your life until you die, or changing your current state into something that's going to grow you. Actually start this process right here. And that is just thinking like a potted plant. If you think about a potted plant, right? If you put a potted plant in like shitty ass sandy soil that's kind of dry and the water goes out really fast, has no nutrients in it, it's obviously just going to die, right? But given the right conditions, so if you repot it and you put like fertile soil in there, holds the water, nice compost, then that plant can come back again, even if it was like super wilted, half dead. Same thing for you. You right now are basically like in sandy ass soil, no nutrients, getting all fucked up, which makes it very difficult for you to actually start making these adaptations and changing your environment. So the answer to that is to just change your environment. Although it sounds counterintuitive. It doesn't necessarily mean like just leave your job right now, because you probably need money. Like, I mean, maybe you can change to another job that's more enjoyable, but you probably need money to live. So how do you change your environment slightly, so in other areas of your life, in order to now change that, again, deathbed into fertilizer? First is to leave the home I was comfortable in. So personally, I had no skills, right? I could barely talk to people. And of course, not being able to communicate makes it very difficult for you to build skills in anything, especially in business, to be honest, and just generally within life. So what I did was, before I went to college, I had the choice between going to college really close to my home or going to one a few states away. Well, I chose to go to the one a few states away. So I was forced to interact with people. And you know what? That created the adaptation to actually communicate with people. And now like I can make these videos. I worked my job, which was more of like a consulting style job, which I had to talk to a lot of people, present to a lot of people all the time, which I wouldn't have been able to do if I never changed my environment at that time. And of course, I hated school. I hated all that stuff. But just go into the less comfortable situation, which is actually fertilizer for you. Or the other thing is like go into a job that I think I couldn't get. So of course I did get this job right here. I didn't think I could get this job. It has a less than 0.01% acceptance rate. So worse than the hardest college out there, except I still got into it. And that was the only place that I applied to. Like I was thinking about just winging it and starting a business. But I was able to do it because I went all in. I went into the environment. I truly immersed myself in the environment of getting this job, which was, really learning about how to do the interview, who to talk to. So I would literally go reach out and network to people, even though I didn't want to. Like, it's really hard. You don't want to, like, oh yeah, it's not going to do anything. You try to convince yourself not to reach out to people because it's kind of uncomfortable to just talk to strangers or reach out to them. But I did it anyways, and well, fuck, I got the job, and within the job, I made like $150K a year eventually after some promotions. And obviously, that helped me get to this point faster. Then within that job, I was still nervous to talk to people. Like, I could communicate. But to get rid of that nervousness, I just went and made these videos. And from doing that, just talking to the camera, I was able to better craft my ability to speak again to then better perform in this more like advisory style job. So do the things that I had no idea how to do, that I was very uncomfortable to do, basically changing my environment in the way that honestly was less comfortable, change it into fertilizer. Because the deathbed scenario is actually the environment that you're comfortable with. You stay in your sandy, dry soil with no nutrition. It is very comfortable because you know. But if you just get up and move, do something that's seemingly uncomfortable, it's actually more fertile for you. So you go to a new experience, you get the result from whatever experience, and it very literally adjusts your neurons in your brain. That means learning something, and that learning allows you to do more and more things that are more and more valuable for more people. And eventually, when you get enough ability to create value, people want to pay you for it, and that eventually gets you rich as fuck, or as rich as you want, considering you still want to keep doing this process, right? So the last part is knowing where you are and then being able to change into being rich eventually, because if you don't know where you are, you're going to do the wrong things. You're going to change into environments. And honestly, changing into an environment isn't always a good thing. You could very well change yourself into a shittier environment and then, you're totally fucked. Like, for example, you think it's a good idea to move to Bali or something like that. Just like, oh yeah, new environment. I could be a bunch of digital nomads around me, a bunch of business people around me, and I can level up like that. Well, it could very well completely destroy you. So we first have this wage cut scenario was invest in the S&P 500. And the reason why you call it the wage cut scenario is you're just doing what everyone else is telling you to do. You're telling like the tried and true method, and you're making barely enough money to retire at 65. You never start anything. You really, truly never start anything. You never try to pursue any type of goal. You never try to really change any environment, which means you're only ever going to be stuck in your deathbed working the same job till you die. So really, to get out of this scenario, you just have to start something. But usually what happens is people come a crypto degen looking for the 100x score. And what I mean by this is, for example, they'll take whatever money they get and they'll win it big, or they go to this casino, try to win it big, or buy a lottery ticket, try to win it big. And you think the money, that big sum of money that you could win, is what's going to make you rich. You get lucky. That's what people get rich by. But that is just trying the same dumb thing over and over again. Never truly building up skill, never truly going through this loop, misses out on the actual long-term goal because you're only chasing money. And if you're only chasing money, you'll have this goal. So you'll start the goal to make, like, I don't know, however much money that you think you're going to make by doing some dumb gamble. Then you're going to have a problem, which is you're going to lose a fuck ton of money. And they're going to be like, oh, fuck, I lost some money. It didn't work. I didn't get lucky enough. And you're going to try again. And you're going to have another problem. And you're going to keep going down and down and down until, okay, maybe you get some money. But then overall, you're going to have more problems. And you're just going to go downhill. That's because it's not tied to this goal. And if it's not tied to a goal, you miss out on the diagnosis and design problem, which means you never have the doing part. And if you never have these last three here, then you never go up. You never actually get this portion that's going to make you rich, which is the real doing, because this gambling is never actually doing anything. But you might realize, okay, stop chasing money, start doing things. You'll probably land in a scenario where you do too much, which is the drop shipping dip shit for 2 months. I did this myself, to be honest, which is, it's again sort of in the scenario where you're chasing money, but you are working on a real business model. Like, you listen to the gurus and stuff, and you try dropshipping, you try an agency, you try some like AI type of thing. But you tried for 2 months and, oh shit, it doesn't work. I didn't make any money like these gurus told me that I would, which means it doesn't work for me. I'll go try something else. Problem with this scenario here is, sure, you might have some sort of goal to make a bunch of money or whatever, but once you reach the diagnosis and design phase, you come to the conclusion not of actually solving the problem within the business model that you have. You just see that you have no results. And you're like, oh fuck, it doesn't work. I diagnose that this doesn't work. And my design is not to actually overcome the problem. Instead, it is you switch to an entirely different path, which means you never get this upward momentum because you're never actually on the same path at all. You're just constantly switching to the next loop, the next loop, the next loop, and that keeps you just always essentially in the same deathbed all the time. So then the rich scenario is to truly get this one thing, this one overarching goal, and then constantly going through that same 5-step process that Ray Dalio mentioned. And if you just want to simplify it a bit more, kind of like I had, you have new experiences, you get results, and then you eventually adjust your neurons. So you do the learnings, and you eventually learn what to do more of or what to do less of if you get a bad result. Now, all that's left is you might have realized that, oh shit, I don't have enough money, or I don't have enough time, I'm always distracted, I'm too tired, which means I can't ever get this process started. I just have no ability to work on anything else. And of course, if that is the case, you're never going to get anything done. If the problem is more that your brain is too cooked or too tired or too distracted, then watch this video over here. If your problem is more that you don't have enough money and you feel you can't get it started, then watch this video right here.